What do you do when you're leading a project and you're trying to create change within an organization in only 8 weeks? Traditional methods are out the window. Waterfall methods, ADKAR, Cotter, all of those change management methods are out the window. Too slow. We need to move quickly. So what do you do when you're trying to get your systems implemented and your teams actually using them in only 8 weeks? Let's talk about it today on our Tea Time with me, Amanda Prochaska. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm thinking about this a lot because we're noticing in the industry is that we've used to have these very long projects, let's just say 26 to 52 week long projects deploying a system over the source through pay space, etc. Now with the advancements in technology that we have, they are very short sprints. So think of it in an 8 to 12 week implementation. That's a lot to get through and to get your organization to come along with it. So very critical to be thinking of as a leader. If you, instead of having one large project that was happening, now you have 4 smaller projects happening all at the same time, how do you create that change in the organization? And I tell you what, it's not through doing a stakeholder analysis and a change impact analysis and all of those wonderful things that worked well on the larger programs. But on these very small or shorter, discrete implementations, and I shouldn't say that they're small, sometimes they have a very, very large scope, but you can move very, very quickly. How do you create a change in your organization to really get that done? And after thinking about it for really over the last 6 years or so, we deployed a new methodology at Wonder Services called RAE. It's Rapid Adoption Enablement. And this is for those teams who are moving fast, who have these short implementations. How do you actually create change and get adoption at the end of the day of these new techs? So let me break it down for you, because this is a game-changing methodology that will help you so much. And I tell leaders all the time, you can really use this on any change. You can use this at home if you wanted to. It is a very applicable methodology and approach that you can use all over your business. So what is it? It's broken down into 4 areas. I usually 3s or 5s, so 4 is an interesting one for me. But the first one is mission and measurement, or what we call MM. Mission and measurement is your North Star. If you don't have a mission for the implementation, and the mission is, what are you trying to accomplish? What does that future vision look like? And then the measurement are 1 to 3 different success measures that you are going to measure to make sure that you are successful at the end of the day. So mission and measurement are very, very important because it will help you move quickly on making decisions. It will help you articulate what the change is and what the change is not to teams. It will also help get everyone, all of the stakeholders on the same page as you are moving very, very quickly. So you have to start with mission and measurement. If not, you are going to be lost on the rest of the project. It is item number 1, a must do, MM. The second one is, how do you actually deploy these types of projects? And we call it Tiger Teams, or a TT. Tiger Teams are these small yet scrappy teams that have been enabled and allowed to make decisions on behalf of these projects and implementations. So no huge governance model. I know there are a lot of governance models out there that were built for these very large programs, and then we try to apply them to these smaller, more discrete, very, very agile, very scrappy type implementations. So what you do is you collect, 5 or 6 different people who do the work today, who are intimately knowledgeable of their aspect of the work. most of the time these folks are going to be impacted by the change, and they need to be able to clearly communicate and influence. So these people are usually not hard to find. The harder part about these folks is that they might get tapped on a lot of projects. So you just need to make sure that they have the time and availability to do this. But you gather this tiger team of people, and then you enable them to make decisions, okay? They should only be coming to the executive sponsors or a steerco or something like that if they can't come to a conclusion on what decision to be made. But other than that, they should be allowed to run independently and run quickly, okay? You've already know what the mission and measurement is. The team will be held accountable to achieving those results. And if they run into barriers, if they need coaching, if they need help with direction, that is a leader's role in that space. But the tiger team should be able to be very autonomous and move quickly through this project, because that's what you're trying to achieve. Okay, so we've now covered MM and TT. The next one is clear communications. Sometimes I call it crystal clear communications, but CC is our next one, clear communications. I tell people most of the time when we're moving this quickly, I like to see a 15-minute touch point on the daily. So this 15-minute touch point is really focused on what is a 3-2-1 method, 3 successes over the last 24 hours, 2 areas where they might need help as a tiger team or help from others to do the work, anything that they might need help on, and then 1 story. So those clear communications are of utmost value. You're moving very, very quickly. I like to have a very broad audience on that call and say, hey, if you want to chime in, if you want to hear what's going on, please join the call. It's not your only form of communication, but it's that daily heartbeat, because you are moving very quickly to have that 3-2-1 method deployed in those communications. Now, what I've seen teams do is have a 15-minute call in the morning as a tiger team. We would lead that call, and then we would go out and on the regular meet with our key stakeholders. So now, this particular example, we were actually in the office. It might be a little bit different if you're virtual, but we would do the 15-minute and then meet with 3 of our executive stakeholders, understanding where they're at, where they have questions, where they have concerns, and then showing them the data. Now, this particular example, we had 8 weeks to accomplish something, and it was a mess when we started. So we were actually a bit of a cleanup tiger team, trying to get it back on track. So it's very important to have those very frequent conversations. I love the story aspect of this. I think of a story as a show and tell moment, where you can show, here's what it was and here's what it's going to be. Or one time I used a picture of someone that was helping me out in the warehouse, and it was an example of how we were all coming together to get this work done. So whatever that story is, that's actually what resonates the most with the people on these communications. If you can do a little bit of a show and tell or a story in those meetings, it goes a long way. Okay, the very frequent communications is important, and that's not, you never heard me say email in any of that. You can do some emails along the way, but one other thing that we find really important in these clear communications is a live dashboard. If you can pull some metrics together and be able to show a live dashboard to those who might be interested in that data, then that also helps. So if you're implementing a new system, it could be project complete status, or number of risks that were mitigated, or how much you have actually started attaining some of your success metrics. or it could be more operational in nature. It really depends on your particular implementation, but daily or a live dashboard also goes a long way in those communications. Okay, last one is FF, and this is frank feedback or frequent feedback, depending on how you want to look at it. And this is, I would say, a bit of a heartbeat of how successful you're going to be at this deployment. If you are moving quickly, what you don't want to do is overlook your people. And like I said, we see what's happening these days is you'll have 4 or 5 of these programs going on at the same time, all impacting the same user group, and it gets very confusing very quickly. So if you can deploy mechanisms to get that frequent feedback and then you do something with it, it's going to really, really help you be successful in the long term. It will help your people feel heard, and it will give you that direction, if you will, on how the program is landing and what needs to be clarified along the way. And frankly, just even what's going well, right? And then you can use that as one of your stories in your communications. So frequent feedback, people will do surveys, people will have one-on-one meetings. There could be questions around technical readiness. So for instance, you'll do a training, and at the end of the training, you'll assess to see if they have the skill sets or not. But be thinking about, as these Tiger teams are working, how are they gathering that frequent feedback, and how are they using it to make sure that you're really ready to deploy in 8 weeks, but your people are also coming along in that progress. Okay. So that is Ray in a nutshell. We've put together these 4 areas to really help you with rapid adoption enablement. It is a critical need in organizations today. As the projects get shorter, we overlook a lot of the change adoption and change management practices, and we're leaving our people behind. Burnout levels are at an all-time high. Loneliness levels are also at an all-time high. And as we continue to be more agile and continue to deploy these technologies on a more rapid basis, you need a tool set like Ray in your arsenal to be able to not only accomplish more, but also make sure that your people are coming along with the change. With that said, I hope you Ray. If you want to learn a little bit more about Ray and our other services at Wonder Services, please drop a comment below or follow me on LinkedIn. Would love to get to know you more, and hopefully you liked this video. If you did, hit the button and subscribe, as we bring tea time videos to you very frequently with this type of content related to change adoption. Some of it's related to procurement, some of it's related to just other things that I'm interested in. So we go all over the board, especially when it comes to leadership and leadership trends. So cheers to you, and I hope to see you next time.